and welcome to this next presentation on becoming a compassion architect and engineering gratitude. You might already be thinking, wow, she's really lost her mind now. But in this presentation, I'm challenging you to build compassion for yourself and for others, and to take a moment each day to be grateful. As you already know, I maintain that when we decide to use our time looking for the good and even becoming the good for others, we change the world for the better. So let's take a look at what compassion is and why it's been so hard for us to achieve lately. What is compassion? It's the feeling we get or the concern we have for the suffering or misfortune of others, and a desire to act in accordance with alleviating that suffering. So think about the people in your life that you have compassion for. Your family members near and far, your friends, your children, maybe your coworkers. When you see someone in distress, you generally want to reach out and help them. That's a natural, instinctive reaction and a decision to nurture and protect. And the problem is, we just can't do that right now. First of all, we are all experiencing suffering. The collective trauma of COVID and the isolation in its wake means that our once natural instinct to reach out in times of trouble has been halted. We are collectively alone, refraining from our innate tendencies to ask for help, mostly from friends and family, which is our natural support structure. And now, sadly, a new habit has formed. And for those of you who understand habit loops, you know that they're very powerful things to interrupt and rewire. The new habit loop that we as a global society has created is to keep to ourselves. And the second part of the equation is that there's an awful lot troubling us lately. Information about the health of our bodies, our nation, our civility is constantly challenged, changed, and invalidated. It's disorienting and confusing and undermines our confidence in systems that we long held loyalties for. We don't know who or what to believe anymore. During these times, we heard contrasting narratives about how to stay healthy, and then watched as those narratives were both confirmed and invalidated. And that theme continued throughout 2020 and held fast for 2021 so far. And that makes us feel powerless, numb, pessimistic, and even more isolated. We have difficulty concentrating. We keep our emotions bottled up and have become overwhelmed by simple obligations which we once handled just fine. Let's face it, some of us are self-medicating with Instagram cat videos or an entire season of something on Netflix, or chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream with extra whipped cream and sprinkles. So we're all suffering. That's the problem. Who's supposed to lend us their comforting shoulder when we're all experiencing a shared and collective trauma with almost no end in sight? And the answer to that is, I just don't know. But I do know that we have to try, and we have to start now. To be kinder to each other, to architect compassion and reach out to others who are suffering just a little more than we are. We have to try again to be characteristically better humans, to be gentler with each other, to try to understand each other again, to develop tolerance for each other and stop trying to cancel what we don't know, like, or understand. When did it become okay to just be so cruel and antagonistic? Our compassion might be the fiercest thing we own. To respond with kindness and gentleness when the world expects us to be aggressive is probably the most savage thing we can do right now, and the most human. So why not do that? And the truth is, I don't believe half of what I hear on the news. I believe that America and its citizens are inherently good and good to each other. So along with being a good human to others, here are a few tips on how to be good to yourself. And don't be surprised if they look familiar. Wink, wink. Are you feeling up for a challenge? Well, our folks from the positive psychology camp have already taught us that when we do good for others, it naturally helps us feel better about our lot in life. So why not be a compassion architect for someone else? I challenge you to find one person who is struggling just a little more than you and lift them up. Isn't that how we change the world? Because we can't change a broken world by being just like it. We have to level up and show others how to do the same. So if you really want to be a compassion hero, take on this challenge. Even if you're gritting your teeth the first 5 times you try it, I challenge you to be kind to everyone. Yes, everyone. What if we gave everyone the benefit of the doubt? What if we treated everyone as if they mattered and as if they needed a friend? And that leads us to gratitude. What if we woke up in the morning grateful? Just grateful for the little things again. For a warm home and enough food and running water. How about internet access? So that even though it's not ideal, our kids are still able to connect to peers and even teachers. We can be grateful for our friends who accept us for who we are, and family that sometimes drives us mad, and for a community to serve, and for those of you who are faithful, the practice of your faith. And did you know that if you increase your gratitude levels, there are a host of other benefits, including a 23% reduction in the stress hormone cortisol and an 80% reduction in stress? Enhanced well being, deepening of relationships, improved optimism, increased happiness, stronger self control, better mental and physical health, stronger athleticism, and a better life overall. So, what if we looked around and found that the country we live in and the people who inhabit it aren't as so bad after all? What if we recall the freedoms afforded by living in this great democracy and the kinship and fellowship we find in those who accept our weirdness and imperfections, and that while imperfect and needing of much healing and repair, it's still one of the greatest examples of humanity? That we offer life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to all equally. And sure, we don't always get it right, but we try. And where else can you find that promise? So maybe before you offer up your friend the latest gossip, offer them 3 things you're grateful for. Before you complain about the kids leaving the toys out or the dishes in the sink, remember you once wished and prayed for those things. And I do know how hard it is to remain in this state of grace during these very hard and trying times. But that's how we engineer gratitude, by looking for reasons to be grateful. By accepting that despite how we see the world, we can accept that goodwill still exists if we remember how to see with our hearts. And what's wrong with being a little hard on your sleeve, warm, loving, compassionate, and unguarded anyway? Maybe that's how we change the world. How can you engineer gratitude? Here are a few tried and true ideas. Write a letter to someone you love and thank them for their presence in your life. Consider a gratitude journey and write down the things that you're thankful for, no matter how small or big. Maybe that perfect cup of coffee before the kids got up, or sleeping through the night after a sleepless week. Write down all of your partner's thoughtful actions and emotions for 2 weeks. So literally take notice of all the nice things he or she does to enhance your life. And expanding your social circle, which naturally increases your ability to cope with life's hardships and challenges. Well, that's it. Just some uncomplicated, holistic ways to invite and orchestrate compassion and gratitude. And I'm sure by now you're noticing a few themes that run throughout these presentations. that we're building a lot of similar and connected mental and emotional muscles, and that the choice is always yours to do so. We rise by lifting others, so I hope you choose to be a compassion architect and an engineer gratitude in your life. And since your power is always in your choice, I hope you choose one positive thought over a negative one positive action over an indifferent one. I hope you choose not who you are by default, but who you want to be, because your power is always in your choice. Stay shiny, my friends. Stay brilliant and bright, and use your light to change the world. Thanks for joining me.